Everything around us was once just an idea in someone's head, and we truly can create anything we want to. I think the cycle of us expanding our comfort zone never really ends, but that's all part of soaking up this experience of what it means to be human. Hey, I'm Jane. I'm a single mom, and I'm not letting that hold me back. I bought 5 acres of raw land in the Kootenai Rockies, where I'm building my own home and homestead, planting a food forest, creating art, and living life on my own terms. All of this is so one day, hopefully, my kiddo won't need to struggle the way that I did. Come along with me as I create my very own freedom recipe. They say when life gives you lemons, you should make lemonade. So I figure when there's a giant windstorm that gives you a lot of fallen trees, you should make some sculptures. And the biggest sculpture I want to tackle is this 20-foot tall white pine snag. Ambitious? Yes. Am I ready for it? No. I've never carved anything by hand, so I'm gonna be easy knees. I'm gonna practice by making a little wooden bowl. But first, it's time to bust out my chainsaw. I'm gonna start with the trees that have fallen into the pond because I really miss relaxing in my morning tea corner. Cedar is a great wood for making spoons and bowls because it lasts so long. I think this small top will be perfect. The trees, plus the early spring runoff, have clouded the water. But I hope that it'll settle again pretty quickly because the color of the pond is one of my favorite gifts this little slice of nature has given me. I'm getting better at starting my chainsaw, by the way. I also had it tuned up, so that helps a little. Carving a bowl by hand is completely new to me, but I figure comfort zones are only comfortable for a short amount of time. I like to challenge myself to be creative and to always be trying new things. I used to think I wanted to retire early, but I tried semi-retirement and I became so uninspired and also kind of lonely because everyone else is at work. I also know for me personally, if I don't have something to do with my hands, then depression hits pretty quickly. I don't know if you feel like this, but it's like I melt into a puddle of myself if I don't have purpose in my days. There's an Indigenous story of a young girl asking her grandmother how she deals with emotional pain, and the grandmother says, with your hands. When you do it with your mind, the pain hardens even more. I'm a fan of all types of therapy, and I've done a lot of talk therapy and will continue to do so, but it seems to work best for me if I remember to combine it with movement therapy like dance and yoga or music therapy. Have you seen that image of the pillbox that's tipped over but music notes are falling out? It's so true, isn't it? I mean, music can be medicine. Don't we all have a song or an album that got us through a really hard time in life? For example, for me, Ani DeFranco was my lifeline in my early 20s. It's awesome to find the things that uplift us when we're having a hard time making it through the day. I'm stacking this brush to let it dry out a bit, and then we'll burn it later this spring. I'm keeping the pile away from the buildings but close to the water because a fire this size could get out of control. And there will not be any forest fires on my watch. No way. Now I gotta buck up a few more logs about this size so I can chop them up for carving. I'm gonna make a pile of logs so that I'll have some on hand when my hands feel idle, or whenever I want a project that's not too overwhelming and could even be completed in one day. I forgot how bucking up even one tree can work up a sweat. I have mad respect for my logging team who fell dozens of trees every single day. This is one of those moments where I remember I couldn't have done all the land clearing by myself last summer. No way. I needed that team. Doing this work to clear the fallen trees is one of the most satisfying tasks that feels like it's giving me purpose. I know it won't be the last time a tree falls here, but I keep thinking that if I can stay on top of the maintenance, then by the time the ground has settled and the vegetation has grown back in, my grown-up kiddo will then have stable ground and a lot less headache than I have. In an ideal world. I've got to take these little logs up to my chopping block to cut them into carvable pieces with my axe. At least this is a step that I have a lot of practice in, because at this point in my life, I have been heating my house with wood for more years than I have not been. But this wood is for art, not warmth. I'm not sure how small to make the pieces for bowls and spoons, so I'm just gonna cut a variety of sizes. Who knows, maybe my kid will want to carve something one day too. That'd be really cool. Yep, my chopping block is getting destroyed. It's taken a literal beating this winter and it's time for a new one. I've heard that wood for carving needs to soak for a couple days before you can use it. So I'm gonna toss them all in this bin and fill it up. Can I take a moment and say how happy I am that all the lawn hydrants are working? Pretty proud of myself, and also really stoked that no rocks settled on or crushed the underground line. That would have been the end of this whole project. And with the magic of video, let's skip forward 48 hours. It's 2 days later and the wood is ready to become a beautiful little bowl. Actually, no promises on the beauty part, because again, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I whittled once in Girl Guides, maybe, and never since. I need a chunk of cedar that's deep enough for a bowl, but enough for a rookie carver. I watched half a video of a guy carving a bowl and it didn't seem that crazy complicated. Why don't you stay, 'cause I could really use a friend. Stay, please stay, 'cause my heart really needs a man. The first step is to use one of those old-fashioned compasses like we had in elementary school math class. I swear, doing things in analog, using my actual hands, lights up some sort of neural pathway inside me. No one can convince me that creating on a computer has the same type of satisfaction. And this is coming from an animator who has created lots and lots of digital art. It's not that the digital art can't be beautiful. No, the end result can be extremely pleasing, but the actual tactile feeling of my hands touching a natural surface in order to create something far outweighs the feeling of plastic keys under my fingers. Both digital and analog art forms are very present in my daily life, but I think if I ever went fully digital, my soul would shrivel up a little bit. How do you chop it against the grain? I probably need a smaller axe. Okay. I could probably chop it here. Okay. Oh! I don't get it. No, yes, no. It's also probably very dull. You know what? I should just get a table saw. Off to a great start. I got a second one because, you know, it seems like I'm gonna need some practice. Realistic goals. I like realistic goals. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Okay, please don't hurt yourself. Not feeling super confident. Let's not lose our fingers today. Safety third as always. But I've been using this technique for years and it hasn't failed me yet. I need to stop saying that because it feels like a jinx. Didn't like that knot, that's for sure. I'm gonna cut a few of these to size, but keep most of them in the water bin for another day. I'm learning to use the tools while they're out rather than just doing the bare minimum each time. There's our circle. Okay, I think I can work with that. Now it's time to make something beautiful. At the end of that indigenous tale of the grandmother's teachings of using your hands to heal your pain, the grandma says, everything that is made by hand, so it is said, is made with the heart. Because it really is like this. Hands and heart are connected. Move them, my love. Start creating with them, and everything in you will move. The pain will not pass away, but it will be the best masterpiece. And it won't hurt as much anymore, because you managed to embroider your essence. I feel like this teaching is so underrated. We're actually weaving or embroidering ourselves into something we've made by hand. I can feel the difference between an object that was made by a machine versus one that was made by hand. I can't fully explain why, but it does feel different. Okay, this is gonna take a lot longer than I thought. But I think that's the point. The point is to be meditative, not to be rushing all the time, to be enjoying the fruits of this land, trying to live a simpler life. I'm learning I'm not that good at that. I'm working on it. But I think we live in a world where there's this expectation to always have like really high productivity. And yeah, I just think that I have a hard time not just running towards the deadline. This is a slow burn project, and that's what I'm after. Idle hands are thought to lead to mischief, but I also feel that that wrongdoing that they warn us about also harms us as well by leading to depression or a feeling of worthlessness. Imagine if crafting or creating any sort of art or music could help heal that low point. Our world is so fast now, and if you're like me, you feel guilty for resting. Whittling wood shouldn't feel like I'm being lazy, and I do feel like that a bit, but carving wooden bowls or spoons by hand was the only way to do it for thousands of years. We've only had electric tools for 100 years. That's so recent. My Mennonite relatives who live without any modern utilities would probably look at me like I was a child if they saw how I was carving this. Good thing they don't have screens because they don't have electricity. In a future video, I want to tell you all about my dad's side of the family because I'm actually the first generation who wasn't raised on the farm. And what blows my mind is how much information can be lost in only one generation. I mean, my dad grew up without even having indoor plumbing. Mennonites are really similar to the Amish, so if you want to hear more about that, just let me know. And if I've already released a video about my Mennonite heritage, by the time you're seeing this video, I'll post it somewhere on the screen here. As usual, everything takes longer than I think it's gonna take. I might even get out the chop saw and just cut the corners off because I think I'm gonna spend too much time on that. Or maybe I just enjoy the process. I don't know. Okay, I'm having a lot of gratitude right now for being born after the Industrial Revolution. I could seriously go for a lathe right now. Just pop this wood block in, spin it, and create my bowl in a few minutes. I'm understanding why handmade artisan spoons are so expensive now. If I think about how many hours it takes to finish one mini bowl, and think about even just minimum wage, dang, that is definitely an expensive item. I'm slowly seeing my dream of a shelf filled with funky bowls slip away from me. But a lathe could be really awesome one day. Not to sound like I'm fully blaming the tools, because I'm not. I 100% don't know how to carve properly, but I got these online, and some of the research I did said, I don't know why anyone would bother getting a wood carving set off of Amazon, because apparently they're such bad quality. And I thought, nah, it can't be that bad. But these are pretty not great. At this rate, I'll have a nice paperweight Does anyone even use paper anymore? I feel like I'm really stepping back into the past right now. This is relaxing, this is relaxing, this is relaxing. My confidence in being able to carve that 20-foot white pine is dwindling by the minute. I think I'm gonna have to practice on a smaller stump first. Yoy. I wanted to sit by the pond, but it's hard to completely zone into the project because I still need to pay attention to any rustling in the forest. It could just be a squirrel, a raven, or even just the wind, but I don't want to completely ignore the sounds around me, especially considering I'm right beside a fresh drinking source. You get kind of used to being hypervigilant, but you never want to assume that it's nothing. I'll work on the bowl even more tomorrow and hopefully have something lovely to show you at the end of this video. If nothing else, I've learned that I might need to schedule in some relaxing time into my days so my nervous system can become familiar with what safety actually feels like. It's been way too long since I've known what that is. This is as far as I got on the bowl before I got frustrated and filled with bloody cuts. My kiddo wants me to keep working on it, so I'm gonna keep working on my sculpting skills because I would really like to become the carver who's capable of turning that 20-foot snag into something that is a showpiece. One of the best parts of being human is that we get to have opposable thumbs and a highly developed brain. That combo is a superpower. Everything around us was once just an idea in someone's head, and we truly can create anything we want to. I think the cycle of us expanding our comfort zone never really ends, but that's all part of soaking up this experience of what it means to be human. And I'm always excited to expand my knowledge. Like right now I'm learning Irish, or properly Gaeilge, an cuppa té leatherhull, which means tea please. Life can be so juicy if we're willing to get a wee bit uncomfortable along the way. And no matter what you do in life, remember to pour love into it.